Okay, so this is my weapon collection. I'm making this video because I've seen other weapon collections on YouTube from other people and other channels, and I quite enjoyed those videos, and I thought I'd give back. So I'm gonna try and keep it under 10 minutes. Okay, just quickly before I begin, I'm just gonna say that everything you see here is legal, first off, and I'm just gonna explain a couple things really quick here. All the guns in the video are unloaded and they're safe, and I'm not gonna shoot them off in my house, and if they accidentally go off on this video, feel free to make fun of me in the comment section. Actually, feel free to make fun of me in the comment section anyways. Secondly, I've categorized the weapons into 3 groups primarily, at least I've tried to. Stuff over here you see is stuff I've made myself. Stuff in this middle section is things I've bought or traded or somehow obtained or collected over the years of collecting weapons. And stuff over here is mainly training weapons or props for movies, not really weapons in the weapon sense. Okay, so let's get into it, I guess, now. So these are a cold steel medieval sword waster trainers. They're made out of a durable plastic, polypropylene, I think, if that's how it's pronounced. They're very durable, they're good for training. The weight's really good to them, but the balance is a bit forward for my taste of sword, but they're very good for training. Sai, my friend gave them to me. Looks like he was practicing against somebody with a machete. At least that's what he told me. They look like they're made out of some sort of steel that's coated in chrome. These are pretty nice. They're pretty light, pretty sturdy, like they feel solid. Good for thrusting. Picked up this machete at a local family-owned hardware store. It's pretty nice. A nice wooden handle. It's more of a longer machete. It's pretty good. The blade didn't come very sharp towards this portion of the cutting edge. It was more dull, but machetes are supposed to be dull. Well, at least not as sharp as swords usually go. But I kind of touched it up with a grinder. It's a bit sharper now. It's a nice piece. I got this cold steel cutlass machete. It's very nice. Doing cut tests with this. Goes right through water bottles, of course. Right out of the box, it didn't come. It came fairly sharp, but there was burrs all along the blade, all along the edge, the cutting edge of the blade. So I had to just take those off with a file, touch it up, made it a slight bit sharper. Cuts like a dream now. I got this shorter sword at a flea market. It's designed obviously to look kind of like a zombie weapon. It says Biohazard Zombie Survival Gear on it. It's pretty nice. I like how the back has kind of teeth that aren't really sharp for, I guess if someone's attacking you with another blade, you can block with those rather than your edge, getting it all nicked up. And but what I really think it's for, and I could be wrong, is smashing bones. You get break an arm or a leg or crack a skull a lot easier with the teeth than if it was just a flat edge. It's pretty nice. It cuts well. It wasn't too sharp, and the steel isn't so great. Like, obviously it's more of a, novelty sword, but it's not bad. It has a good weight to it, and cut tests, it goes through water bottles and pumpkins pretty easily, so it's not bad. I like it. The handle, I find, is compared to the cold steel machete a bit better. I find this doesn't have as much grip as I'd like, but you could easily fix that with some hockey tape or cut some lines and texture into it with a knife. So that's that. I like it. It's pretty nice, but this was $40 compared to that was $60. The handle is a bit, personally I like it a bit better on this one, but this cuts way better. This cuts alright. Not bad, don't get me wrong, but cold steel, obviously, it's going to cut pretty good. Moving on to guns. So this is a Browning 1911 original. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a BB gun that I got from the same trip as that sword there. As far as BB guns go, this is the most realistic in terms of operation and mechanisms, as well as look and general appeal. It's CO2 powered and holds 16 BBs in this magazine. Here's where the CO2 goes. I just do not have a canister in it right now. This one is in between the prop weapons and the bot weapons for a reason, because it's an airsoft gun, and although it's spray painted black, I know that's not so good legal wise, but it's for a movie. My friend wanted a machine gun for a bank robbery movie he was doing, and there's BBs in the magazine, yeah, but it's not going to shoot. It's not loaded because the battery, it's battery powered, does not work anymore. At least it does not hold the charge long enough to actually be useful for an airsoft game. It was pretty fun when it worked though. So the reason why it's dark out now is because there was a blizzard hit and the power went out, and also my battery died. Moving on to the next gun, there's this pellet slash BB gun that is, it looks like an AR-15 carbine with the carbine stock, and has more of a longer rifle foregrip, but whatever. The sights you can see are these style sights that go onto a Picatinny rail. You can also swap them out for the scope and put iron sights on that. I'll talk about that later. It was pretty fun shooting airsoft. So this shoots metal BBs and lead pellets. There's a good sight picture. The sights are adjustable, and you adjust the sights with the little tool that comes with this fake magazine. There's a little screwdriver and a little kind of opposite hex wrench, I guess you'd call that. And the other little thing in the magazine is an actual magazine, or clip, I guess. I don't know which this would be categorized into really, but it holds 5 of the lead pellets to shoot the pellets, and the BBs are in the gun, in the little reservoir, in the handle, and you load them by opening this little gate, and it loads 17 into here. Yes, there's BBs in the gun, there's BBs in this gun, in the magazine, but there's not actually in where they load into the gun, and neither is this, so the guns aren't going to shoot. You load the BBs into this one, where the safety is on a real AR-15. You slide open this little gate and you load the BBs in. The actual safety is on where a lot of other gun safeties is, near the trigger guard, and yeah, there's the safeties off, but now it's back on. And on the guns, the safeties are on, so don't worry about that. Maybe not the 1911. Now it is. But just because the slide was open earlier. Speaking of safeties, the safety's actually broken off of this airsoft sniper rifle, but it's unloaded, so it's safe. It's not going to shoot. No one's going to die here from this deadly, deadly airsoft gun. There's nothing in the magazine, but it holds 30. So that's 20 or 30. I don't know. I bought this from a friend. He's the one who spray painted painted the tip black. I'm not sure if it's spray paint, but there's still a bit of orange on there, so I guess it's okay. There's the scope. The scope is an adjustable, so you can zoom in further, not so far. It's pretty powerful for an airsoft gun. It goes about 500 feet per second, and it'll go through a bed sheet that's free hanging, so I've never seen an airsoft gun do that. And the buttstock is rubberized, so that's pretty good. It's spring powered and bolt action. The next gun is this Vigilante. Looks like a big hand cannon revolver, but it shoots, it also, like this gun, shoots both pellets and BBs, so that's pretty cool. It's a double action, so you can cock it, or the safety on it's pretty good. It actually blocks that from, I don't know if you can see on the video, but it blocks the hammer. That's the safety off the hammer. There's no block for the hammer to stop from striking. Like, obviously this isn't, the hammer's not going to strike a firing pin, but for some reason somehow they made the gun so when it shoots, the hammer has to strike for the CO2, which is stored in the hand grips, to propel the BB out. It opens. Okay, you need 2 hands to open it, but It opens with a little button to, you can see that little hook hooks into there. So it opens like that, and then close it up when you load in one of these, which holds, I loaded this up except for one of the chambers is broken, so you have a safety chamber that you leave it on when you're not shooting, so it's not going to accidentally shoot one. This one holds 6, now 5 metal BBs, as you can see in there, and it also comes with this 12-shot lead pellets. So that's a pretty neat gun. Next up is the Red Ryder. Really fun to shoot. Got that around Christmas, believe it or not. It's my first one I ever got. I've wanted one ever since I was really little. Like, I mean, who hasn't? But it's a fun gun. Everyone should have one in their collection. Enough about guns. Let's move on to some of these prop and training weapons here. So let's start with this gruesome looking bad boy. So this first one actually sits on a stand I have over there. Just a show knife, really, made out of stainless steel. It's not even sharp. You can look, I saw into my leg and cut arteries and stuff. Not really. But that being said, these points are really sharp, so you don't want to just go swinging it at your friend. So, as well as this pile, not really a weapon, but I mean, improvised. If a zombie broke in, this was sitting on your table, first thing to grab. You had that point. I think you could take out one. Blade would break off in the skull probably, but if one's all you need to take out, it's pretty hefty too. I mean, it's all metal. Next is this little wooden tomahawk that I made. The little jacket hatchet. Not much to say about this. You can train with it. It's fun. You won't hurt anybody. Might sting if you caught one in the finger. So me and my brother ordered these two together online. They weren't spray painted gray for the blades. They were all wood at first, but Chinese sword trainers. Didn't have the string on it either, but these are good. They're alright to train with, but since they're wood, unlike the cold steel ones, these will break eventually, so instead of training, they're more of a prop, which is why they're spray painted, but also, I don't know, oh, just like this, a one-use weapon, nothing else to have, just grab it really quick. This one, more of like a scimitar looking blade. It's cracked here though, like I said, from training. The wooden ones will take damage eventually, unlike the good cold steel plastic ones. But a little bit of tape or some wood glue will fix that right up. Alright, next. So, like I said, nothing here is illegal, but crossbow pistols are illegal here in Canada, but this one doesn't have a string on it, and you can't put a string on it because the little plastic bits have been broken off. So it's in here. There's a little red dot sight on it, but that's just for looks. So like I said, that's for props, for a movie or play or anything you want to do, but there's no string on it, so it's fine. What else? This gun, another airsoft gun, spray painted. Ooh, illegal, but it doesn't work. When you put the CO2 in it, it just leaks out, so it's not very good. None of these are real. It's just plastic airsoft gun. There's a magazine that's thin looking, can hold 50 caliber bullets in here, but it just holds, I think, also 16 but airsoft BBs. It was fun to shoot at my friends with when we had goggles playing, but now it's just good for a prop. It looks like a gun, doesn't do anything functionally. Moving on to these more cold steel trainers, but these are the longsword, the hand and a half longsword cold steel trainer. These are just painted to look cool, I guess, and also for prop reasons. You might recognize them from another one of my videos. These longsword ones are actually belong to my friend who I train with. And the medieval waster ones, the one-handed sword ones you saw earlier, belong to me. But really good to train with, basically the same thing, but longer, so it's easier to use. Something else from Cold Steel, I got this for doing a bit of work for my friend, is this Cold Steel throwing knife. I'm not sure if it's the Sure Flight or Mini Flight or Flight Pro, whatever. As you can see, it's taken some use. It's really fun to throw, really accurate for a throwing knife, I guess. I don't know, I don't throw many knives, but I throw this one and it works pretty nicely. I mean, I've tried throwing the other ones, but this one works the best because it's obviously intended for throwing. Another knife, this one, I just found this one randomly actually. There seems to be some sort of green paint or something. I'll have to clean up, sharpen the blade. I guess it's not too sharp right now. Some good teeth. The first knife I actually ever bought was something kind of like this, a bit smaller maybe, but you know, I like these kind of knives, they're good, handy. So I traded a different knife for this knife, a Ruko brand hunting knife with a skinner. Another knife I got here, the blade is stainless steel. It was bought from the hardware store as a different knife, but I carved the handles and I thought wooden handles were nicer than the plastic ones that were put on it originally. So there's a little fish. And also, this is actually the original sheath for this knife, but I got this one when I put the new handles on it because I thought it fitted better. Opposite of that, I guess, would be this knife, where the handle came off of a folding knife, but the blade kept coming out because the pin was alright, the little screw keeping it in place, but I thought it looked cooler on a fixed blade. So I made the blade myself from a mild steel ruler, a carpenter square actually, made from mild steel. It cuts alright when you keep the edge sharpened, but of course it doesn't stay sharp for long. Just like that one, it's only stainless. You can cut pretty well, but against hard things, it's going to lose the edge real quick. When I made this knife, I made this one for my mom. I got to stain the handle, but also made out of a carpenter square that's mild steel. This one I made back in my high school shop class. I barely got it out of there because obviously it's a weapon, but it's not very sharp, but it is pointy and it is heavy and it is thick, and it has a leather handle with some hockey tape around this part. Kind of tried to make it look like the sword from God of War. I think it's pretty cool. It definitely cleaves through things, although it's not super fine edged. Here's a basic dagger that I made. The handle's wood with leather wrapped around it. You can see in there's a little nut when there's a hole, and there's a pin holding the handle in place on the thing. There's no pommel or anything, but here's the cross guard and the blade. The blade's not very sharp at all, really, but and it's only sharp on one side, but it is pointy. It's a dagger. Okay, so I made this little knife when I took a basic blacksmithing course. It was really fun to make. The course taught me a lot about blacksmithing really well. Basic little knife. I only worked on it for a couple hours. Didn't really get to finish it, but it functions. It just doesn't, it's not finished. So I also made these pair of steel gauntlets when I was in high school. They're a bit more okay with these because they're armor and not a weapon, but it's hard to put them on with one hand. But as you can see, it's a gauntlet with the steel plates. Steel's only mild steel and it's kind of thin, but protects against like knives. You won't get cut, obviously. And training. with these training swords. Anyone who trains with sticks or training swords knows it sucks to get hit in the hand, so this helps a lot. You could also use hockey gloves, but when you can't find hockey gloves and you live in Canada, just make a pair of steel gauntlets. Works just as well. So one of my more recent and fulfilling creations is this short sword here. I just uploaded another video on how this was made. Just a picture slideshow, but didn't turn out too bad, although it's not, you know, perfectly symmetrical. But medieval swords historically never were perfectly symmetrical, and I'm okay with that. I could have spent some more time wrapping the grip, this copper wire here, but I think it's alright. So for the pommel, there is 2 pieces of steel sandwiching the tang under there, so it adds a bit of weight to it and makes it thicker to hold on to. If you're going to use 1.5 hands on this short sword, I guess. So two-handed melee weapons I got here. Two-handed melee weapons. This one is literally just, there's a bunch of junk, pieces of thick glass, wire, stuff, thick pieces of metal, screws you can see, all wrapped in duct tape, or hockey tape rather, sorry, and a blade from a garden shear that has a little chip out of it. So that's pretty nasty. Wouldn't want to get hit with this. Wouldn't want to hit anybody with this. It's just kind of cool to say, yeah, I got this crazy Raider Fallout weapon. So another thing that's more elegant than that, I guess, is this machete axe that I've engraved in there. It's a machete blade and an axe handle that I've wrapped in leather and put leather pads for 2 handles there, but you can really hold it anywhere. There's 3 screws where the machete blade original handle is embedded into the axe handle, but what I want to do is add a pin right in there, because right now all it's held in is with that and the tape there, so the blade does, even though it is in there pretty good with the tape, the blade does wiggle back and forth when you strike things with it. We can just turn it around, strike it, and then it'll go back in place. But I want to add a little metal pin under the tape here. I'll take it off, put a pin in, drill it all the way through the steel and wood, and then with the pin on there it'll be solid and it won't move at all. Or alternatively, what I could do, or maybe make another one, because this will make it heavier, is add an actual axe blade coming out here, so you have machete blade and a heavy axe blade, giving it more weight. But the weight, it's pretty light right now actually for the length, so I like that. I might make a second one with the axe, machete axe head. The most deadly weapon of them all here, this broken bong. Stabbed someone with it, smashed them over the head. This will protect you against anything that might be attacking you. Now before you go say, oh, you wrecked a nice ruler. No, I found it like this. I just took it home so I could take a piece out. No real reason this is last, but it's a 12-shot pellet gun that runs on CO2 power, and it's semi-automatic and shoots as fast as you can pull the trigger. The magazine goes into this little thing. The little rotary mag fits in and locks into place into this mag. Where it says lock, you click that into place. The rotary mag stays in. Then you load it in the gun. There's no charging handle or anything. When you pull the trigger, it just shoots when the CO2 is activated, which goes into here, and then you screw it down. It says don't use a screwdriver and to use a coin or something, but you can also screw it in with your fingers with the knurling on there. It's kind of like that fiber optic front sight, basic rear sight. And there is a dove's tail rail on it. And this thing is not a charging handle, it's just, you push that forward, down and forward, and then it opens the barrel so you can clear jams. So yeah, so this is my weapon collection so far, I guess. please leave a comment on what you think of the video or anything that you've seen here. Leave a comment if you want to see a video of anything in detail or more depth. And I have tested them all, whether it's training or cut tests on water bottles or just using knives for practical knife everyday tool reasons. They all are pretty good. None of them are junk. I guess I haven't tested this, unless you count testing it by leaving it on the shelf and looking cool, because it passed that test. But hopefully I'll get some video of cut tests and training videos and some cool stuff that you guys might want to see. One more thing that I made that I guess you could use as a weapon. I made this when I made that little knife at the blacksmith training course. This was one of the projects. It's a fireplace hook. Use it for fireplace logs, obviously, but I don't know, I guess you could hit somebody with it if you wanted. Rather use anything else here. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a nice day.